Hi, fellow traders. Thank God it's Monday. I know I left you guys Friday with thank God it's Friday. I was ready for the week to be over with. I was done. I was worn out. I was frustrated. I was through. But I had to draw on the mentality of thank God it's Monday. Back when I was teaching, I loved teaching. I loved the students, but I hated where I was teaching. Because I hated the politics and everything that the the administration held as important, which I didn't. It My philosophy didn't go and coincide with theirs, and for me, it was about everything I needed to do to help my students grow and to become successful in the industry or whichever way they went, whether they went engineering or anywhere. But the thing is, I started watching E.T. Eric Thomas. Some people call him E.T. the hip hop preacher. And every Monday he would put out his Thank God It's Monday videos. And for him, Monday was a mindset. It's about doing what we love and creating an environment that allows us and others to succeed. And that was my focus going into the classroom. That's my focus with Average Joe Trading and helping you guys realize your dreams and achieve the goals that you have for yourself. For me, that's what it's all about. So, you know, it's a mindset. Thank God it's Monday is a mindset. And it's something that we can have and we could bring into the market every day. It's really, really important that we come in not bringing the negative and everything, that we have this bring it on attitude. It's like, I'm here, I'm ready. Just bring me what you have and I'll make it happen. And that's the attitude and the focus that we've got to have. So that thank God it's Monday mentality is not anything new, but I had to come back and draw from it, because I kind of started losing my way last week. It was, I was becoming not myself, and so this was my attempt at doing that. So, thank God it's Monday. It's a mindset, it's a mentality that I'm going to bring in, every day. Now, unfortunately, this morning, I didn't get my day started until 3 minutes before I was time to go live. I missed everything, all the preparation that I do every morning. Everything just got completely wiped out. So what happened was I wasn't adequately prepared for the open. So my watch list was kind of small. There were other stocks like Microsoft, like Apple, that had catalyst too, but because it was outside of my box, I didn't see it. Even though I have Apple's chart up every day, I was just so far behind, I just didn't pay attention to it. But it did come around, and Apple did provide me with some relief, but I just flat missed it. But to start out today, we just didn't get the day that I wanted out of the market. I didn't want to see a gap up, because a gap up steals a lot of the volatility to the long side out of our trades. So if the market's going to go up, which I think is going to continue to go up, I would rather it open right at the close or maybe below the close. So, or even a gap down would have been nice, because that would allow the bulls to gather their forces and come back with a vengeance, and we get more explosive moves. And that's where we make a lot of good money day trading. It's when we get those explosive moves. Now, it's okay with swing trading because we're not trying to get money all that day. Now, some days we do get fortunate and our first target gets hit because we get a blowout day. But that doesn't happen all the time. So swing trades, we're looking 3 to 5 days to, get everything out. So we're going to have hiccup days, and that's okay. We're not worried about that. It's when we have days that takes away value in day trading, it prevents us from making the type money that we want to make. So that's why some days I may not do good in day trading, but I lock in some swings and we bring some money in, and, vice versa. Sometimes swing trading is not there. The market's selling off and I'm killing it day trading because I'm a better short seller than I am going long. So, it just works out. And that's the way this thing is. That's the way trading is. And so what we do is we try to figure out and work things out that allows us to take advantage of all of this. So let's take a look at the SPY on the 5-minute chart. It's just absolutely incredible here. We at the open here, we only spent maybe 35 minutes inside the 5-minute opening range. Once it broke out, it was gone. We did have the little pullbacks that help, that we do need in order for stocks to keep going. And then, right here, we start to see, we get wicks at the top and bottom of the candlesticks. The body starts to get smaller. We know that the market's starting to equalize. The buyers and sellers are starting to equalize a little bit. And so sometimes you see a bunch of buyers come in for whatever reason. Sometimes you see a bunch of sellers come in for whatever reason. We don't know. We don't care. We just read the price action and trade accordingly. That's all we can do. If we get caught up trying to figure out why the hell the market's doing this and why is it doing that and who's doing this and who's doing that, you're going to spend your time trying to analyze garbage and not make a dime. And you don't want that to happen. But you could see that the volume spike was here at the end of the day and where most of the volume hit. But we're still holding up. We're still around 353, still over the 5-minute, the 20 on the 5-minute, and the 50 and all of that stuff. So tomorrow, as long as everything stays the way it is, we should have a decent day tomorrow. But I would rather it not gap up. I'd rather it open halfway this candle. A gap down would even be a blessing to us, because that'll really get the bulls fired up. And we can get some aggressive moves back long. But, the market is trending up. So I'm looking for more of the long trades than the short trades right now. But that's just what I see in the market right now. So we'll see if we can get that tomorrow. There are 3 things driving this market, and we talked about these yesterday. Politics, policy, and in a couple of days, earnings is going to stick their nose in this. They're going to dip their toes in the fire. And then we'll have 3 things working on the market. Policy, meaning the stimulus talks, everything regarding the stimulus and other things that's affecting our economy. The politics part of it, and I know sometimes policy and politics intertwine, but the silly season that we're going through now with this election, I call it the silly season. I borrowed that term from NASCAR. That's pretty much what it is. That's going to continue to kind of work its magic in the market. So just keep your eyes on the headlines and, watch how it affects the market. And then that'll help us as we plan these next few weeks out. All right, so the first trade was on DraftKings. Now, I knew the day was going to be tough. I knew the value wasn't really going to be there. So I felt I needed to wait and allow the market to catch its breath And then I felt we could get some halfway decent moves. So, DraftKings, here is the 5-minute opening range. It kind of hiccuped back and forth, and finally we had this one big candle to break out. And then we pulled back and had some crazy price action. But here this candle opened, it sold off and retested, and it started pushing and it looked really strong. So I jumped in, took it long, but don't do is I don't use the 20 EMA from the daily anymore. I use the SMA. I used to use the EMA for years and years and years. And finally, I was like, I need to pick one. I'm going with the SMA. And today proved out to be using the wrong one. This is the 20 EMA right here from the daily. It was around 52.30 something. The SMA was around $54 and some change. Huge window. And that's where I was looking for this trade to make that run to. But it didn't make it because this pretty much hurt. It pretty much hurt the deal. So I went ahead and we ended up getting stopped out of this. I gave it a shot, but when it just let go, I just got out of it. Now, it did turn around and bounce back up, but look, it didn't go anywhere. It just didn't go anywhere. And it didn't, and after all of this, I didn't have any faith in this going long. So that was on DraftKings. Twitter. Twitter's never been a good trader for me in terms of big moves. But this was the other one that had to upgrade today. And I felt, okay, let it settle in. And this thing could probably trend up the rest of the day. I was looking for 50 on this. And once we broke the top of this channel, I got in. And it turned around and just gave up. And so that was 2 in a row. And I was like, man, come on. It can't be that bad. So I was pretty much done with trading. And I was like, hey, we've been going over, the class last week was on reversals. I haven't traded any in a long time. Let's see if we can get one and I can kind of go through the motions with you guys. And I told you before I took it that under normal circumstances, I would not take this trade because the 9 is too close. And the 9 is usually our first target on reversals. Now, sometimes if you take a reversal too early, like between 9:45, 10:15, then you're going to run into the fact sometimes that these moving averages are under the VWAP and the stock will just pull straight back to VWAP. But if you wait and trade the reversals later in the day, like I normally trade them later in the day, you're going to find that this is going to be a well-organized trade and areas for you to take profit on. So typically you would take profit at the 9, the 20, and then the 50 or the VWAP, whichever one is next. Sometimes the 50 has caught up. Sometimes it hasn't. But you can see here, it got hung up on the 9. This is why one of the rules we have is not to trade it into the 9. But like I said, I just want to take you guys through the process here if we took the trade. So the stop is always going to be a reclaim of the resistance we're using for the rejection. And I was using this 123.05, and once it reclaimed it, we were out. And that was that. So once we reclaimed this, I'm like, Apple's going to 125. That was what I thought even back here. I thought it was going to 125. And so I grabbed it, put my stop down here, and this is when I left to go to the DMV, and just let it go. And you could see, I mean, it made a really nice move up to 125, right where I felt it was going to get to before it rejected. And I probably should have left the order I had on, because I knew I couldn't be on my computer or anything in the DMV. So just set a range order for a stop here and a profit target at 25. And that's all I had. But I got back before, I forgot, I must have logged back in when I got back around here somewhere. And I took the order off and just waited, and I took 2/3 off when it hit 25, because I was there, and if it started running up and we got more out of it, I could take more out of it. But I waited until we lost the 20 and took it off. You know, I gave it, the 9 and the 20 were so close, I felt, you know, hey, if it loses the 20, then we're done. And that was that. So it helped me bring back some of the day. Was still red by like $58, but to me, the day was a win. I managed my risk. I didn't let things get out of control, didn't let it get out of hand, and was able to, you know, really keep my mind into what I was doing. So not mad about this day, you know, at all. I'm ready for tomorrow. We're going to go in and going to trade the same way. Going to be managed, reserved, and just wait for the market. If we get bad signals, we get bad signals. But the next one may not be. So got to be, you know, next up mentality. All right, so the only swing trade I got in today, MNST, there was several that did trigger. I felt MNST had the biggest range, and you know, but it gapped up like a lot of other stocks did, but it gapped up over the 50, and our entry trigger on this had to be over the 50 because of, you know, where it was. So it did gap up over the 50, allowed me to get in, and it did make a strong move, but it did pull back. It closed a little weak, but it's typically what stocks do. You know, they break out and they start to pull back toward VWAP later in the day. But we'll look for this tomorrow to continue to push. Here's where I thought I would run into some resistance. You can see right here, this 84 level is tough. And this is where I thought if I did run into any resistance, this is where it would be. But we didn't even get there. It got slapped back well before 84. So maybe tomorrow we can test 84 and potentially close above it and make an assault for this 52-week high. But the only swing trade that I did enter, the other trades are no change. You can go on Twitter or on the website and see the latest on it up until this morning. But there's no changes in it. Chewy, CHWY, almost made it to the target. It came within, 9 cents, looks like. So it almost made it to the target. But Zen, you know, still waiting for it to hit 110. I think the closest it got was a couple of bucks. So I'm taking it a little reserved on swings. Like I said, the market gapped up, and I realized and I figured that we would get some pullback on some of the names, and we did. Some open, triggered, and then pulled back. And this is typically what you see when the market gaps up. But then it recovers and it starts to go. So we'll hold on to that and see where it takes us tomorrow. So we did get some news, and the only reason I'm showing you this is something that we can do. One of the strategies that we can use, and I teach trading breaking news, trading aftermarket earnings. Yeah, you got to have some experience with this, and yeah, you just have to be here at the right time. It just so happens I was here when Disney made the announcement, and we were holding up, and so I just started working this, and we did hit one target, but you could see these are kind of the same patterns that develop intraday. You just have to be patient and allow these things to work. Now, the way I trade this is a little more aggressive. And there were 3 guys that I know of that took this trade. They emailed me and told me that they were taking this trade. I was in it. We kind of compared notes. But all of these things are possible. And I'm just showing you this because this is what's possible. Okay, this is what's possible once you get to that level. And the same process and the same steps that I'm taking you through, the same strategies that I'm taking you through are the same ones that I used, and they will prepare you to trade these. There are going to be times where we take pre-market trades using these same continuation patterns. And when you get to that level and you have that level of confidence and discipline, these things can be really profitable. So another stock that news came out on, let's see, was MU. But this hasn't gone anywhere. Tomorrow we may get some more movement up. But this one had an analyst upgrade, I think. But it's just a matter of being there at the right time. And there are traders. There's several that I work with. And I've told you before, they go to work. They love their jobs. Some of them have other businesses that they run. And they come and they trade aftermarket. When earnings season is going, they trade aftermarket earnings. Or they come and they trade when they get breaking news like this. And they make a pretty good chunk of change doing it. But the opportunities are endless, guys. That's what I want you to know. But in order to get there, you're going to have to develop the skills. You got to develop the patience and the discipline, the mental skills to get there. So that wraps it up for me. We'll get back at this thing in the morning, and hopefully I'll be a little bit more prepared for the open, and we'll see what we can take from the market tomorrow. So you guys have a great night, great evening, and I will catch you in the morning.